Quand on se suicide dans la scène, on se met pas tout nu. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. Je m'appelle Max.
Hooray. Oh yeah, I forgot we're introducing
You've got to je m'appelle yourselves.
Je m'appelle Chris.
Yes. Je m'appelle Darcy. Here
Well,
we
there
are.
we go.
Did you say it?
Wow. We just. But
Sorry, the connection's so bad.
Yeah.
we just said it, and I have a feeling Max just sat there and went, "Did anyone even speak?"
Oh.
Yeah, we were going to record in person, but because of timing, I was like, let's just do it on Zoom instead. And then,
This has
this
happened.
has to be the one
Because Chris is
time
lazy.
that our connection's really bad.
See, this is the problem because I was already down near Max's area, and I could have just gone.
You would have been sat there a while. I was at work.
No, I was at someone's house, and I could have just come over after, and then all I hear is, "Well, he doesn't have a second mic," and I was like, "Well, that plan's out the window. Then I guess I will go back home."
I guess so. Well,
Ew.
now we're all at
Yeah.
home.
And now this has happened, so yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
next
maybe
week
next week.
we'll be together.
Chris isn't too lazy. We'll do it then. How we been doing?
Yeah.
I'm looking at him because I'm just like, well, yeah,
Good week?
okay, yeah.
Or bad week?
Yeah, just been working the whole time. Working full time now, so I'm in 5 days a week. Barely have a time to breathe by myself.
Whereas I'm kind of the opposite, where I'm sort of just because I'm working from home, I'm just I'm losing track of days. I actually don't know what day it is, like ever. I thought it was Wednesday today, genuinely.
It's not. We're recording this on a Tuesday.
I know, I don't know what's going on at the moment. I feel like I don't really have a lot of structure at the moment, where I'm just sort of on a laptop like nearly 24 hours a day.
How's your week been, Max?
It was alright, I guess. It's been alright. I mean, it's Tuesday, so could be worse, I guess. Went to the beach a couple of times. Or was it once? Maybe just the once, I don't know. But the beach is always nice, since we live near the coast, and
Yeah.
summer is nearing its close. Figured might as well just go there, make the most of it before it all stops. And going in the sea
And then when
gives
you
you
go down there and
hypothermia.
it rains. Yeah. Literally, it's vile in the winter.
Yeah, the weather's been all over the place recently as well, so
Mm.
you got to make the most of those sunny days.
Yeah, my sister always says that. She's like, "Oh, if I lived by the beach, I'd go every day." And I'm like, you do kind of take it for granted though a little bit when you live there, because you can't go to the beach every day. It's just a weird thing to say, especially when you live here and you can't actually get to the beach without getting a train.
Yeah, luckily we can just, we could walk it if we wanted to, like really wanted to. Or maybe you guys couldn't.
Yeah,
I kind of could.
Really determined to get
Yeah,
to the
just
beach.
take a couple hours, but we could do it.
Yeah.
You just get the bus though, why not? But, I
Yeah,
mean, I say
that
why
actually
not.
fascinates me.
because the people on the buses here are not the most courteous, not the kindest of people.
No, I mean, it could be worse.
It could be worse. Yeah.
But buses are a bit tragic round and round.
I'm now intimately familiar with the bus routes because I don't have a bike anymore. So I just been taking the bus.
You're taking the bus as well. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all right. I don't know if I'd say fun.
Yeah, I used to pay. Yeah, I know. I used to pay like £85 a month to get the bus.
Yeah. Oh, extortionate prices.
Yeah,
No point. Yeah, exactly. Why do you think
it's
I get?
ridiculous.
I use a bike. Not anymore, but why do you think I used to use a bike? Anyway.
And then the people of Portsmouth robbed you of it.
Yeah, Christ. Demand it back. Speaking of things I demand back,
That's what you should
is
do.
a bit of time from last episode to correct myself. I did say that Chaos Walking
Oh, what
was
have you
based
done?
on like all 3 books, but that is not the case. It's not the case.
Oh, is it only based on
It's
one
based
book?
on the first book, yeah. So I apologise, but
Oh, okay.
it does not make me hate the movie any less or any more. I feel exactly the same. That movie still
Nice.
sucks.
That's fair. We like a little edit, you know.
I was like pissed off with myself when I was listening back to it. I was like, nah, you fool. You fool. Why are you saying this isn't true? Well, I've corrected myself now. So
do you listen to every episode, Max?
At least once. Someone's got it.
I don't know if I can. I get too like awkward. Like, I listened back to that episode where I wasn't around.
Yeah.
You know, the one with Roma.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to my voice notes and I was just cringing. I can't do it. I used to listen to the podcast every week before I joined, and now I don't.
We've lost a listener.
Yeah.
But gained a host. Yeah, I don't. I listen to it to
yes.
Mostly see what we can improve, I guess. Try to bring something else to it the next week.
What I love is every week where Max goes, "Good episode, guys." Like, I'm waiting for him to be like, "This episode was terrible."
One day we'll just be like, "That was actually appalling." Did we do that like one time? Oh no, we like recorded an entire episode one time. This was like in the early days. And then it like just stopped immediately after recording and like my laptop crashed. We were like, that was great. We can't upload it now, it's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, Max's laptop crashed so it stopped recording, and we were using Discord at the time.
Oh, wow.
And for some reason, Discord just decided to stop recording like 5 minutes in, so we couldn't even use the recording from the call.
Is that why we now use whatever we've got here?
That's why we use Zoom now.
I mean, Zoom is a bit more reliable, I suppose.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zoom.
It was only because I used Discord for Cult of the Touch, my old podcast.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
With that episode, we'd always message each other afterwards and be like, that episode was probably quite shit. I think that was
because it's not something that Kai would say every episode. God, I was shit. I was so drunk.
Yeah,
God,
I think it was just because we got progressively drunker and drunker while recording.
I thought it was amazing, personally. I actually loved it. I used to get my little Nintendo Switch out, play Animal Crossing, and listen to it. I loved it.
Maybe one day we'll bring it back.
Petition for Callum to restart Cult of the Touch. I hope he listens to this podcast.
Probably not.
No, I doubt it.
We don't drink on this podcast
right now.
Respect it too much.
Yeah, we're professionals.
Very professional.
We drink coffee and tea only.
Maybe one day we'll do a drunk episode.
Is there actually anything in this coffee?
I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of really terrible. I feel like that would not go well.
What, drinking on the podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd think it would be funny, and then you'd actually listen to it back, and it's just like completely incoherent.
We cannot upload this.
Considering how little I remember of the films and stuff already, I reckon I would just get on and I'll just be nabbering on about nothing because I have no idea what's going on. Most likely.
I wanted to
just
talk,
chatting about how much I hate films.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to talk briefly about something that happened that we didn't mention in the last one because it hadn't happened prior to us recording the last one. But Sean Locke, a notable comedian, face of like 8 out of 10 Cats, a really great stand-up. He died recently from cancer. I wanted to bring it up because I really admired him a lot. I thought he was one of the best in the British comedy game. He really brought a lot to the industry, I feel. It was very sad to hear of his passing.
Yeah, it was really sad.
A couple of years ago at work, every single day when I'd go for lunch, someone would be watching clips from 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, and it was because of him I like watched the entirety of that show on 4OD because I just found him so funny. He had so many incredible just bits on that show where they clearly just let him just go loose and do what he wants. Like, there was a clip I watched the day I found out he died, where he's on the show and he's like talking about the tiger who went down to the pub for a pint. It's like a fake kids book all about this tiger that goes to the pub.
They're making that book now.
Yeah,
they're apparently publishing it.
It's so funny. And there's also the infamous carrot in a box game that they did on that show. I
mean, I'd be lying if I said that I actually, because I didn't really watch like 8 out of 10 Cats or anything like that. But when I told my sister, she was pretty upset. Like she was mega
I've never
sad.
watched any of his stand-up, but I definitely would like to do that because
he's really
a
funny.
Very funny guy.
Yeah.
I watched a stand-up special of his on 4OD the other day. It was called Keep It Light.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend that. It's quite short, 45 minutes. It is funny. It's just I was like binging 8 out of 10 Cat Stars Countdown when I heard about it. That show's so good. That was like in an era where all the Channel 4 shows like swapped over and like people did each other's shows, and that was the only one that stuck because it was so good.
Yeah, that show is really funny. Yeah, he was probably my favourite presenter on that show, to be fair.
Yeah.
I know he left 8 out of 10 Cats at one point, and it definitely got a lot weaker after he left. It did.
Well, he was
actually really funny.
He's got such an electric personality. I think he brought a lot to the table. It was still all right, I guess, but he was like the heart of that show, I think, along with is Jimmy Carr really, or is it more like he was doing it? He was playing the games, so.
I mean, I'll be totally honest. I think that's one of the reasons I haven't watched it. It's because I don't really like him.
It's not even that I don't like him. It's just his laugh is so annoying.
Well, that too, but I just never vibed with him.
I think he can be funny. I just hate his laugh. It just ruins it.
Yeah, I just don't watch it because I just don't like him. But all the clips I've seen are quite funny. But I think it's because he's not in them.
You used to have John Richardson on the show as well, who's another really great British comedian.
I like him a lot.
He also left, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
I think they left around about the same time, actually.
Well, it was never a show that was like supposed to happen, I guess. But we got it, and probably just be grateful for what we got because it was bloody good. And yeah, just to round this off, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's sad. But yeah, I would say just like watch that show, watch more episodes with him on it, and definitely watch his stand-up special because that was really good as well, and I like that a lot.
Yeah. And if you don't want to watch a full episode of the show because you hate Jimmy Carr, there's plenty of compilations on YouTube of literally just his best bits that Channel 4 made themselves, I think. So
good on them. Good.
They're all really funny.
Didn't they make one a couple of days after he died, or the same day?
I think so.
Because I'm pretty sure I've seen them like on Twitter or something before.
There was like a season that came out earlier this year, I think. Did a lot of those. Okay.
Was he on them?
That's that.
I think so. But yeah.
Let's make something. Let's make this a bit happier now. So we watched some French movies. Awesome French movies.
The French movie.
That was the
awesome.
The goal.
Yeah.
And Chris changed his recommendation as I'm speaking yesterday. At about, I don't know, 9 at night.
No, it's about 6 or 7.
Yeah, well, I think it was about half
6 or 7 o'clock. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I watched 4 movies.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any better, but
yeah. So I picked Incendie, the Denis Villeneuve movie. Incredible movie. Turns out it's just impossible to get hold of.
It actually is. If
our
you try
internet
look for
was
it.
just like so poor yesterday. We couldn't like find it. We couldn't like watch it at all.
It would start downloading and then stop and then go back and then go forward. So at the end, I think it said it had like 7 hours to download, and we were like, "This is never happening."
Yeah. So we just switched it to a film that both me and Max happened to own on DVD. I thought Max wouldn't rewatch it because he'd watched it less than a week prior, but he decided to do it anyway.
Hey man, he's dedicated to the podcast. He'd watch it again for the podcast, man. Yeah.
I wanted to get some notes down.
Hmm.
So what did you recommend?
I picked the 2001 movie Amélie, directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. It's a film about a girl called Amélie who discovers that she has this gift for helping others, and the whole film is kind of just her hooked up in this plot where she's met this person, she's bumped into this stranger that she is falling in love with, and she wants to create this really crazy love story of them getting together, but at the same time she's going around and trying to make the lives of all the people around her far better. That's kind of the plot of the movie.
Yeah, it kind of covers it, doesn't it? Yeah.
So none of us had actually watched this movie before, technically, because Max, you'd watched it like few days ago.
Yeah, I was thinking of recommending
So
it.
technically, this is like, yeah. So what did we all think of it?
It sucked.
Straight up loved it. Shut up.
Nah, I mean, it was good. I like it a lot. I don't like it as much as you guys, I think, but I felt
Yeah,
was like-
I've noticed that.
as if Wes Anderson made a French movie, and I was like, these bastards are going to
Yeah,
eat this
we're getting
shit
quite
up.
predictable, aren't we?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to love it.
I feel
knew
like
it.
the second this is it. Like, we have become too predictable, especially me, because the second that like little shot came in, you know, when Amelie's dad, I was like, this is a fucking Wes Anderson film.
Yeah.
Like that, just zoop. He likes to watch movies, and I was like, that's
Yeah,
Wes
I
Anderson.
didn't really know anything about this movie, but I kind of expected it would just be kind of like a generic sort of
French,
like romantic comedy that was just in French.
that's what I thought.
So when
to
you
be
get
honest.
like the intro, which reminded me heavily of the Royal Tenenbaums, where they're like introducing Amelie's family, like growing up, that just like, I was just like, oh, okay, this is what we're going with. And yeah, I just really loved the movie.
I actually, I was kind of thrown off at first because obviously I was like, oh, okay, this is like a really cool film. Then all of a sudden it was like, and this is Blubber. Blubber is their fish, and I'm like, what is this random
They're
tangent?
suicidal fish.
Yeah, this suicidal fish that like gets yeeted into like
just jumps out of there.
It's so weird. And I thought, okay, this film's going in some weird directions. Okay, like I thought, oh, okay, it might have like one of those, you know, like sort of quirky, but not like to the point where like you have suicidal fish. Like I wasn't expecting it. But I liked it. I actually really enjoyed this film. Like it was, I kind of. But everyone talks about it, don't they? When they talk about like classic films, I've heard about this film
this
come
is
up
like
all the time.
One of the most famous French movies,
Yeah.
I'd say. It's like a film that I've
I can
just
see
heard
why.
about all my life.
Yeah, same. Like literally, whenever you go on like Film 4, they're like, oh, they're classics, and then there's just like Amélie, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But what is it?
Just
and
this
then
movie
I
about
found
a
out that
girl.
it's actually sick.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Well,
I've actually had
Apparently.
the DVD for like over a year, just sat there waiting to be watched.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we watched it. Actually, it was a welcome treat for me, I think.
Yeah, and well, I say I had no problem watching it twice, but I did have to watch it again like near midnight, so I had to split it up on the second go round, and I watched half of it last night and half of it this morning. I still liked it about as much as the same. I don't know, because I didn't. This was not the kind of movie that I felt like if I watched it a second time, my opinions would drastically change. It's just like a fun movie, and I liked it a lot. And I think what I get from it is about just what it can give you on a first go round. So, as much as I do love it, and I'm gonna just bring it down a little bit, I didn't think it was like amazing. I just thought it was really nice, really wholesome, and like quirky. I thought the acting was very good, and I didn't expect it to be so comedic, but also some of the comedy didn't really work for me as much as I feel like it should have.
Yeah, some of it had like this weird air of like they're making a joke, but I didn't really find it like funny. It was just kind of like, you know, when you kind of like scoff, it's kind of like a. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah. Not even that. It's like, okay. They were trying to be funny there. I
thought most of the comedy worked. There weren't many bits that I didn't find funny.
Yeah. It's like that bit where they're like introducing Amélie, and it's like her father won't touch her apart from like a monthly checkup, which makes her heart beat like really fast, and that just leads him to believe that she's like perpetually ill.
Yeah.
And that's why like they never went on holiday. That was really
I
funny.
like the fact that she grows up and he's like, we never travelled, and she'll be like, yeah, because my heart condition, yeah, and you're like, could you imagine? Like,
Well, he just ignores her.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
just,
really, I don't know.
it's just whatever.
I guess he loves her, but he's not really
Yeah.
giving her any attention.
Yeah, but he seems socially inept. I feel like a lot of it, but then everyone in this film sort of seems like really inept in some sort of way. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
awkward, but just almost uncomfortably awkward. Like, if you were to ever meet them, you just want to like shrivel up and run away.
Yeah, that's French people for you.
How do you know that's the
Fucking
French
hell.
people?
I've
Yeah,
been to France. They're all like that.
I've been to France and I've
been to
never had that.
France.
I've never had that experience.
No, they're the complete opposite.
Yeah, a lot of them like to, like kiss your cheeks and shit. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, they're all right, probably.
Chris is biased.
What did we all think of like the really weird opening where they're like introducing Amelie's mother and like her father, like, and it leads up to a shot of a real life birth, like just out of nowhere, like a 2-second shot of a woman giving birth, and it just cuts to the opening title card.
Do you know what? I didn't even think about that part. I was thinking you were about to say, and then that part where that woman crushes her mum to death, and I was like, what the fuck?
Well, that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that bit
it's
caught
just
me
like
off
a
guard.
quick shot of a woman giving birth.
I don't think I paid attention to that part.
Well, that
I
makes
definitely
sense.
didn't see no real birth.
It's about her life. What better place to start?
Yeah.
Mm.
I just wasn't expecting this film to start off with a real shot of a woman giving birth.
I'll have to.
I was quite shocked
yeah.
at like the first time I watched it. I was like, wait a minute, there's like a lot of shit happening in this. And then I looked, I was like, oh, it's a 15. I thought it was like a 12, but no, it's so that you can
Oh, it's a
you can
15?
have a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have it. Well, yeah, I mean, come on.
I don't
It's
even
like-
check because I just didn't. I just saw you put the DVD in. I didn't even look.
It's a very
Yeah,
It's
they
quite-
swear in this.
there's
There's
quite
like
a lot
shot
of
her
like
having sex.
sexual stuff in it.
Oh, the sexual stuff
Yeah.
is actually so fucking funny. Like, normally I'm not like a 12-year-old when it comes to that sort of thing, but there was something so funny about the way that they did it. It was so weird.
Yeah,
Like that.
Like
Who
what?
was that that weird that blonde lady who's like, it's my sciatica, and like she was getting off with that guy in like the restaurant toilet or whatever.
yeah,
Oh
judge.
my
and
god,
like the
why was that
entire
so
restaurant just
funny.
starts shaking.
that was funny.
I don't know why that was. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
It was golden to me.
And there's the bit like very early on where they're introducing you to Amélie, and they're like, she's only ever had like 2 partners, and she's just like, there's like a shot of her having sex with someone. She's like, looks like she's laughing.
Yeah, she just looks like she's over it. She's like, this guy can't fuck. Maybe he can't.
That's
I
what they
don't know.
say. She's like, and she's over it, and now she just does her own thing.
Yeah.
It's like she's
Yeah.
seen life's little pleasures and like cultivates just small everyday things that make her happy. Because men are so disappointing.
I mean,
As much like sex and stuff as there is in this film, I don't think it really needs to be a 15. Like, there's no swearing in it at all. They say like crap twice apparently, but
ooh, you can't say crap, Chris.
you can say that in a U.
Whoa.
But yeah, there's not a lot that I think justifies it being a 15.
Yeah, like.
I think most like 12-year-olds like have seen porn and shit. And
Yeah, but
probably
didn't you see?
accept
Did you
that.
see any like frontal nudity?
There's a lot of
I can't
boobs
remember.
in it.
Yeah, I
Saw
couldn't remember if there was
boobs.
loads of boobs in
There
it.
was
or
that
not.
guy who worked in a porn shop.
Oh yeah, where they're pricing up like
Yeah.
dildos and stuff.
There was also
yeah.
that
Yeah.
random flasher you see as Willy at one point.
I didn't see a Flasher's Willy.
What? Nope. I didn't see
Did you
that.
see a Flasher's Willy, Max? Because I don't remember that.
No.
thinking
Chris
of a
is like,
different film.
You are thinking
have
of a
I
different
seen
movie.
the same film?
You are thinking
I
of a
don't
different
remember
movie.
seeing a Flasher's Willy. I promise you.
I know what
Is
you're
there?
talking about, and it's not this movie.
Is it
Oh,
not
yeah.
this
It's-
movie?
Is it in Max's film?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's a spoiler alert for everyone in Max's
Both
movie.
film about women. It's just all the same to me.
I don't remember that happening in that film either. For God's sake.
Well, we'll get to that.
Well, I think I should start making notes on these films because I don't, and I just sort of go by my
Maybe.
memory, and my memory's pretty shit. So I should probably.
So's mine, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I should probably
clearly.
just start making notes.
I like that her father like doesn't care about her at all, and then like she steals his garden gnome, which is like his prized possession, stands over like her mother's ashes in the garden, and then because like he never goes anywhere, so she like gives the gnome to a flight attendant that she knows, and then she takes the gnome to all these different places in the world and starts sending the dad like Polaroids of the gnome in different places. It's like, yeah, look
That
what you
was
could
really
be doing,
funny.
but the gnome is doing it instead.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Like, Chris made it quite sinister yesterday because he just turned around to me and he was like, what would you do if I started becoming obsessed with collecting garden gnomes? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, these are the kind of conversations that we end up having because of these fucking movies. I mean, I thought it was quite cool. Like, at the end when his dad, when her dad was like, do you know what? I'm going to finally go travel. Fuck this shit. I'm going to go.
Yeah, I like how Amelie's
she
like doing all these.
her.
Yeah,
Right, go ahead.
I like how she's doing like all these nice things for a lot of people, and then she's just like also fucking with people at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that geezer? What
just
was his
one
name?
dude. She's just fucking with.
Yeah, like she copies his keys and goes into his flat. Yeah, and she's like, "You want to plug in your lamp? No, no, no. You want some whiskey? No, no, no." It was just
she like puts
funny.
a nail in the cord for his lamp, so when he plugs it in, it explodes. She puts salt
really
in his
dangerous.
whiskey.
Really dangerous.
She like
stuff.
changes one of the.
He was a dick.
He was.
Yeah, but he didn't. He shouldn't have died. That's murder.
She also changed the number on his phone book to the mental health line.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Just like trying to call his mum. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those scenes. They're actually really funny.
It was just this one dude that she was just fucking with. There's this one guy, because he was just an arsehole to...
yeah, he was horrible to that Lucian
guy who was working
he was
with him.
so cute.
Yeah. He was lovely. Yeah, didn't deserve it.
And why would they talk about Lady Di all the time? Did Lucian have some sort of like weird obsession with Lady Di?
It was set in like 97, and then Lady Di died, and it was like on a report on the news.
Because
that was like what led her to find the original like tin box behind like a tile in her bathroom, because she drops her perfume, and it like hits a brick out, and then that leads her to it was kind of like a catalyst in a way to like lead her to do all these nice things, I feel.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't found out
maybe
that Diana had died, these things would like she wouldn't have dropped the perfume, and then it wouldn't have rolled over and hit the tile, and she wouldn't have found the box of that guy's things, and she wouldn't have bothered doing all these nice things for people.
Speaking of which, remember when she did that nice thing for that one guy and the terrible CGI came up and it was like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, when she like helps a guy like cross the road, he's like a blind guy, and she's like describing how amazing everything surrounding him is.
I don't know why, but it just made us laugh really loudly because it was just so like...
It was great.
What?
There's a lot of like really...
like enriched from it.
Yeah, I like random bits like that. Like, you know, when she was like walking away from like getting the key cut, and then the key would be like in the pocket, like you could just see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really weird visuals like
I like that.
I thought were really creative and interesting.
I liked all of them.
And like there was like a bit where she was going on the train and stuff, and like the camera was shaking loads, and the colours were all dark and stuff.
Yeah,
big fan.
It was going super fast. She was going up like the escalators as well. That was great. It was like reminding me of Hot Fuzz.
Yeah. I love there's a really great sequence where she leaves this box in a phone booth for this guy called Bretadu or something, and it's like all these like all these like trinkets from his childhood, and he goes in and opens it, and like suddenly like remembers all these incredible things from his childhood and like growing up that he'd completely forgot about. And he just completely enriches him. I thought that was like a really sweet bit.
It was great. And then he's like, I'm going to talk to my children now, because I haven't spoken to them in ages. So she's enriching the lives of these people, but then she's also like, she's not paying attention to herself and her own needs. But I like that a lot. And then she like sits down in front of the TV, and it's like procession for Lady Diana's funeral or something, and it's just like her instead, and she's like, oh, the TV's saying that Amélie died at 23 years old and she did all these wonderful things for people, but she's dead and she was never fulfilled because she never did all these things for other people, but she was so lovely, and she's just like crying.
Yeah, she's a great character. I thought she was like a really, really well written character. There's a lot to her.
I thought she was really cool. Apart from, you know, like, I don't know, like if I saw her out on the street, I'd probably say hi, but she'd probably run away like a like a bobcat or something.
I thought she was played incredibly well by Audrey Tautou. She's fantastic in this movie.
She's got a great name.
She does.
It's an iconic look as well.
Yeah, like in all the pictures, she looks really, really pale, but then you watch the film and she's nowhere near as pale as they make her out to be, and I find that really bizarre.
Yeah. That poster with her, like, with the green background is, like, so famous. I swear I've seen that, like, so many
like,
times.
it's everywhere. And then when I watched it, I was like, she's not as pale as that picture makes her out to be.
Yeah,
I'd be fuming. That poor girl.
Kind of caught me off guard a bit. I'm like, oh, why? Why'd you do that?
It's just weird. I actually really like this film. I don't know. Like the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, this film was weird. I like that.
Mm. I like how she kind of pursues. She's trying to like change other people's lives, and then she's like, I could do that for me actually, and she like goes out of her way to like make this kind of maze or like hunt for this guy Nino, who's lost his scrapbook of pictures of ripped up photo booth pictures, and then she's just like leading him on this like treasure hunt. And then she oh fuck, I've forgotten where I was going with that, sorry.
What, like, where is that the same guy where they find out near the end of the film that he's just a random guy? Like they thought he was like some sort of like assassin running from the law or something. It's just like he's a repairman.
And they like said, he's a dead man who like wants his memory to go on forever. And that's why he looks so blank in the photos.
And he's like, I just fixed phone booths, not photo booths.
I thought he looked like Bruce Willis a bit.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
It's like almost like a thing where you're like, oh, well, whatever, he's just the repairman. Who cares? But it's treated as this like huge revelation. And I really think that was pretty cool. It's like finding...
It's just the repairman.
Yeah, like small miracles in the everyday.
I feel bad for that guy though. He's like spent all this time like on this journey to find out who this guy is, and then finally finds out who he is, and he's just like a normal dude. Like, it must be kind of disappointing.
He was really happy. He was super happy about it.
I think he was just relieved to know that he wasn't some like dead man or some like evil criminal or something. He was just a regular dude who had a scrapbook. What's wrong with that? It was kind of wholesome in a way.
That got solved.
Yeah, he was satisfied with his achievement.
Yeah, but what do you do once the mystery is solved and then you have nothing?
Get a new one. Get a new mystery to solve, man.
He goes after Amélie. Which is weird. I don't know why she was like, he is the one for me. It was like, well, how do I find him? She goes into like this pawn shop where he works, and that's not like a red flag for her. But, I mean, fine, whatever. People need jobs. But then like, his co-worker tells her where to find him, and he works in like this fucking like maze type roller coaster thing, this like haunted roller coaster, and then like she goes into it. And she's trying to find him, and he's like, ooh, and he's dressed up as a skeleton. And he like goes right up to her. He doesn't know who she is, and he like starts touching her face. Like, who are you?
It's just weird, isn't it?
That's just what haunted mazes are like in France.
It's just France.
I feel like Chris has this weird bias against like France. He's like, nah.
The French, he hates.
Says the man who wants to go to France. You're chatting a lot of shit about France. You're gonna get beaten up.
Yeah, well. Let's just hope we don't have any French listeners.
We will after today.
It's going to be like the Alfonso Cuarón episode where we suddenly had loads of Mexican listeners.
Yeah, we're gonna get lots of French listeners now, and they're all gonna be like, "Oh, Amelie's overrated. Your opinion is wrong."
Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Small thing. I liked when they were like in the cafe, and she's like looking at Nino from like behind. She's trying to write the menu, and she's writing it backwards. And like, you see her write it backwards, and the handwriting is so neat. It's
quite
really
impressive.
Cool.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
But then like it just says like menu of the day, eggs. Okay.
What? Just egg? Order just a singular egg.
Yeah. I'll have the menu of the day. Is 2 eggs.
Egg.
Uncracked.
You don't even know what kind of egg. Yeah, they're just what? Boiled egg? Like what
2
kind of
human
egg is
eggs.
It? 2 eggs. The oofs.
I thought all the characters in this movie were like super interesting and creative. Like, there's so many weird and interesting people, but I thought they were just so like fun to watch. They're all played like super well. I think they're all really well written. Who have their own unique personalities.
Mm-hmm. I like the Joseph guy who's like had this obsession with like one of the woman who owns the cafe, and then Amélie like sets him up with the I forget her name, but she runs like the kiosk with like the cigarettes.
Oh,
and all that.
the sciatica woman.
Yeah, who's like a hypochondriac. She always thinks that she's ill.
Crazy.
Yeah, but like they're kind of dynamic, but he's just like an arsehole. Even so,
he was horrible to her, wasn't he? Like, there'd be points where I'd be like, "Oh my god, shut up."
Yeah, I don't know if they worked out well together. Obviously, I mean that was kind of the point, I guess. It's like Amélie trying to do something nice for people, but sometimes people you don't really know people's dispositions or like if they're going to work that well together. She's just like, there's a woman. she can go with him.
It's almost as if she was like, oh, these two people just appear to be here at the same time. We'll just give it a go, see if it works.
Also, didn't like how like it's just a small thing, but when it's introducing characters, it introduces Joseph as somebody who only pops. His only hobby is like popping bubble wrap, and he never does it. It's like, why'd you say that?
Under the table.
No, come on.
But
it shows it in like that one example, but then you never see it. He's like more his hobby is like looking at people and like recording on his recorder, just like this happened at this time, because he's like a stalker.
He's a little bit weird.
But they do that a lot in the film. They'll like introduce these characters and like say these like really weird, intricate details about the person that never has like is brought up again or really.
Yeah, sure.
It's a thing at all.
Like the only again, it's a minor problem, but it's like you introduce all these characters, fine, they do these things, but Joseph was introduced as having only one hobby. Like this is only. And they use the word only. He only pops bubble wrap.
This is his only thing.
I'm like, okay, but he doesn't. I'm going to stop going on about the fucking bubble wrap now. This is stupid.
I love that. It's just so pressed. I think the man needs some bubble wrap, you know?
Yeah. I like all the costumes, all the costume design. I thought it really helped like the whole look of the movie, which I thought looked really nice and colourful, very vibrant. I liked, especially like Amélie's clothing was really great.
I think just visually, the whole film is just like absolute delight to look at. Like all the colours are so vibrant and popping, and like there's like a really creative usage of colours where they like change the saturation in certain scenes to like evoke emotion or tension. It's just all really creative and interesting, I think.
Agreed. Also like the music, which is like super French, super French, like really just like a heavy accordion based music is really, really good.
It reminds me of some sort of like Lady and the Tramp type thing.
Like Ratatouille.
Yeah. I actually quite liked it. It was quite fun. I think one of you should learn the accordion. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll be the new Weird Al.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's the only accordion player I can think of.
Yeah, you've got all the classics, Weird Al, and that's it. That's all of them.
Means there's a gap in the market that needs to be filled.
It is true. Not many people probably play accordions. I can't speak. Are we ready to rate?
Might as well. Sure. Oh, there's one like small part where she's looking at like a newspaper, and it's all about like Lady Diana passing away, but Amélie just focuses on like this lost post it's just like lost post in the mail. She's like, that's funny, that's weird, that happened, and then that like it's nice to slip that in early because it ties directly into like this woman who's the landlady who lost her husband, and then she never got like a letter because like they lost all this post, and like that comes back around, and she like forges a letter. She like steals the letters that her husband had written her from his time in the war,
and then cuts them
she
up.
like forges a new letter. I'm like, this is so like intricately done. It's just like she's got to steal these letters, she's got to photocopy them, and she's got to like cut out excerpts of the photocopies to make a whole new letter that kind of brings this whole saga to a close. And then she's got to like photocopy that letter so that the lines of the pieces don't show up, and then she's got to like dye it in tea and then send it to her. And like, it's just the lengths she goes to like. I mean, you can argue whether it's like morally correct to do that, but I think the outcome was that it made the woman happy. So I guess that's all she was kind of after.
There you go. Should we rate this out of suicidal fish?
Blubbers.
Sure.
Yeah, I really love this movie. It's just a very strange but super wholesome movie. I think it's quirky and weird, but not to the point where it's overbearing. Or like we said, it's very Wes Anderson-esque. So if you're not into like super surreal stuff, it's kind of like a good like entry point into strange movies. But yeah, I loved it. I give it 10 suicidal fish out of 10.
Poor fish.
Yeah, really good movie. I was happy to watch it again. I wish it could have been under better circumstances. And I liked her cat as well. It was a very nice cat.
Yeah, she had a really cute cat. I'm glad that you remembered that. I liked her cat.
Just slip that in, yeah.
Yes.
And I've watched it twice now, so I could definitely say it's a good movie. It's a very good movie. It's just like a nice chilled out one, I think. I'll probably give it 8 suicidal goldfish out of 10.
Mm-hmm. I like how we've upgraded from fish to goldfish, by the way.
Sorry.
That was a nice segue. I mean, it was actually a goldfish, so it doesn't matter, but yeah, this film felt to me like the equivalent of drinking hot chocolate whilst watching rain outside. It was just like so cute and cozy and happy. I'll probably watch it again, actually. I don't know how soon, but I definitely think it was worth a watch. So I'll give it 9 out of 10 sad blubbers.
Now I go on to my movie recommendation, which
Indeed.
is a 1991 movie by a Polish director called Krzysztof Kieślowski. It's called The Double Life of Veronique, or in French, La Double Vie de Veronique. And this movie follows the lives of 2 people dealing with the ups and downs of life. And we're introduced to Weronika, a woman from Poland who has aspirations to become a renowned singer. And we are also introduced to Veronique, a young French woman who looks identical to Weronika, although they are not related. And Veronique starts to fall in love with a puppeteer named Alexandre, who could perhaps help her through some existential problems that she's been having. I watched this last week because I was sure that I was going to choose Amélie, and then I watched this and I thought, I'll watch Amélie and then I'll decide. And after watching both of those movies, I decided on this movie because I thought it would probably provoke some interesting discussion. I love it. I think it's fantastic. What did you guys think?
Just waiting for you.
Go
to
on,
say
mate.
so.
For me, well, okay, so when I was watching it, I didn't really well, I mean, I kind of understood what was going on, but also not really. So I kind of read up the plot afterwards on Wikipedia, mostly because I wanted to see if that woman was actually singing in the film. But then I looked up what the film was about, and I'm gonna be honest, I think I like the concept of the film a lot more than I actually liked the film. Like, I was looking at it and I thought, oh, this is like a really good idea for a film. I really like this. But it's not what I kind of wanted, to be honest.
I think with me, it simply comes down to the state of mind I was in at the time. I've seen the director also did the Three Colors trilogy, which Max lent me last year or early in the year or whenever it was, and those films were really great. But just like this film, they're very slow and provocative, and you have to really be paying like full attention to them to really get everything out of it. And I think because I was just so tired, I watched it at the end of a long day at work. I think it was hard for me to really get super invested and pay full attention to the movie. So I do think I'd need to watch it again to really get everything out of it, because I don't think I really got much from it.
I think as well, to be honest, I think there's obviously, you guys know me quite well. I do find it quite difficult to sit through really slow films, and it wasn't the fact that I hated the film. I think it was just when I can't focus on it, it's like a lost cause for me. Like I'm just sort of not really about it. I mean, that's probably my only excuse, is that I just find it really difficult to do it. Like imagine Chris, you're being tired all the time is literally how I'm like when I'm watching these things. I can't do it. It's too difficult for me. And the thing is, the film wasn't even that fucking long either.
It's an hour and a half.
Part of it all.
Yeah, it's the shortest one we talked about. The only one that was under 2 hours.
That is the shocking bit about it. I don't know whether it was because we watched it at the end of the day. I don't know what happened there, Max. I can't tell you. He looks really.
He's just gonna start crying.
No, I just want him to start praising it. No, go on.
You know, you think what you want to think. That's the thing about, you know, art and film is it does depend a great deal on what you've been through in life, and it does depend on, I guess, the mindset you're in when you consume these things. I loved it both times. I wanted to watch it a second time because I knew there was going to be something that I could get out of it that I hadn't got on the first watch, and I will say that I definitely got that from it. I don't know if you guys had any kind of theories as to what the movie is ultimately about, past like a kind of basic plot detail, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of felt you get these two disparate stories that are kind of connected in a way. These two women who look like each other, they lead completely different lives, although sometimes you get parts of each other's lives that kind of intermingle. And I feel like a big part of it was kind of showing the life of Veroniqué at the beginning, who was quite sort of she knew exactly what she wanted to do. She pushed herself for this goal. She wanted to be a singer, and she was a fantastic singer. The music is fantastic. Her voice is amazing. And did you find out if that was actually her real voice, Darcy?
No, there was like no information about it.
Yeah, there was nothing, but I can only determine that. Well, from what it looked like, to me it looked fake, but at the same time, Chris was talking about how like there was like certain patterns in the voice and stuff, and I thought, oh, maybe she did, but it didn't look.
It was mostly just it was like the way that her voice like reverberated in the room and stuff. It sounded very natural. It didn't sound like it was overdubbed.
No,
because you can normally tell if it was put in after the fact or whether it was done like there in the room, and it sounded like it was done in the room. Yeah,
I feel like it was her voice. Even if it wasn't, it was done super well.
Yeah, it was amazing.
This character is perhaps a bit more rigid in the way she lives her life. She knows exactly what she wants. She knows how to get it, but also there's a bit more to it, where I think that it's trying to tell this story of like persistence and like push yourself too hard and you'll end up like either unfulfilled or it'll ruin your life in some way, especially if it's not something you have real passion for. I feel like she does have a passion for it, but it's also, there's this scene in the early stages of the movie where she asks her father, what do I want? And he says, I don't know what you want. Maybe everything. Maybe you want everything. So I'm like, perhaps she doesn't, this is not the only thing that she wants, but this is like the thing that's guiding her life in a certain direction, and ultimately it ends up killing her. She's got these like heart problems, I guess. You can tell when she's auditioning for this concert that she's putting real strain on her voice. You see like her kind of like hand gripping around this like string and like tightening it as the vocal range goes a bit higher, and then like she goes home and like she's having like heart problems, and I feel like that was kind of it was more to me like you can have these passions but make sure it's what you really want, or like what you really want to go after, because if you don't, then it's ultimately going to lead to, well, I mean, she died, so it's ultimately going to lead to something horrible if you're not truly following what you feel you should. Or like, even if I feel the movie was trying to explore different parts of life, and if you put yourself in a box, you're not really experiencing life as it was intended to be lived, because it's not just like one thing forever and then you die. It's all these other different things, and if you don't experience them, then you've not really lived, I guess. I've been talking a lot. You guys got any?
My brain just completely blanked then. I don't know.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something because I thought you were going to like jump in. I mean, I kind of agree with it actually, but I mean, I didn't really get the whole like emotional impact of it though, because I was so invested in finding out whether this woman was actually singing that I didn't even see her die. Chris just turned around and went, "Well, you're not going to know now because she's dead." And I went, "Oh, you're chatting shit." And he goes, No, she actually just died.
Yeah, and Darcy didn't believe me. I was like, "She's dead." And Darcy was like, "What? No, she's not dead." Yeah, like 20 minutes in, she's not dead.
I think that's like, why, because it was like 20 minutes in.
Yeah,
and
I was like, "No,
they
literally just showed her being buried."
Well, there you go. I just totally missed that part. But I mean,
it's a fantastic scene as well.
I feel like dies. I could just listen to Max.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
Oh fucking hell! I missed
very
it.
out of nowhere.
You kind
That's
of
why I didn't believe you.
Yeah, like the camera with this like POV shot of what she sees, and the auditorium is like just lit green, and I think this movie looks fantastic. It's got a lot of greens in it, and when she like falls over, like the camera just goes woof, and it like tips over, and she falls over and dies because she's strained herself too much, has put too much pressure on her heart, and then it shows like immediately they're like she's dead, and you're like 20 minutes into this movie, what do you mean she's dead? So I get that, Darcy, I definitely do. And then it shows her being buried, and then it immediately cuts to like Veronique, this other woman who's living in France, just having sex, and I felt like that was kind of like death into life kind of thing. In a sort of way,
I got that as well.
Delicious.
But where I feel Veronica is a lot more held back in herself, or a lot more reluctant to take risks and channel herself into new experiences. I feel Veronique is more free-flowing. She's just like teaching children at a school, and she loves music too as well, obviously, but she's a bit more like open to new experiences or senses. And I feel a lot of this movie is also about like just being able to sense things, and like the things that you can like get from your surroundings and like the world as a whole. I feel like Veronica kind of closes herself off to that, but whereas I feel Veronique is a bit more open to these new things. She's kind of like, she just like goes off and she's like, I'm in love with this puppeteer now, why not? And then like she goes on like this kind of breadcrumb trail to find him, I guess. And that's just it's more free-flowing kind of way of going about life, seeing where life takes you. It's kind of like where like Veronica was kind of like, this is where I'm putting my life and this is the direction it's going in, whereas Veronique is more, I'm letting life do what it will, and where I end up is out of my hands.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of interesting parallels and contrasts between the two characters. Like, they're very similar, but at the same time, they're also kind of opposites in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt that. There's like a scene at the beginning where it's like a baby, and that could be either Veronica or Veronique, forget which one, but she's being shown like, it's like Christmas and she's being shown leaves, and the mother's saying, like, here on the lighter side, there are little veins, and very fine down, and this, I feel, it kind of implies also a darker side to the leaf as well, and this contrast between the two lives, where I feel like one is a bit more darker. Obviously, you got Veronica, who's like, not only is it like a darker storyline, but it's like darker in a sense that like you've closed yourself off to these other parts of life, and the veins in the leaves, I feel, are kind of disparate stories, or like universes, I guess, parallel universes, where like you could go down, like every like vein on a leaf is kind of a different path you can take with your life.
Yeah, this is the sort of shit that me and Darcy definitely didn't think of.
No, you didn't. Oh, really?
No, I didn't even see it. I when I looked up the plot, I had seen that they had said which person was being shown what thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I knew what you were talking about, because otherwise I wouldn't have a clue what the hell you were talking about.
There's also this character of Alexandra, who is a literal...
The creepy puppet man.
The creepy puppet man, yeah, who's like a literal puppeteer, in a sense, but he's also kind of the puppeteer of the story, I felt, in a way that even he doesn't know, because he doesn't know that he's kind of orchestrating these things. He's written this book, and when what is it? Veronique's friend brings out this book. She says, yeah, he also wrote this book. There are two stories in it. One story is the story of a ballerina who falls as she's performing. And this is the play that we saw him do with the puppets before. So she dies, essentially, and then she like goes into this kind of cocoon and then emerges as a butterfly. I felt that was very emulative of Veronica, her story, and how she kind of tried to do this thing, or like she was very passionate about it, and it ended up killing her. And I feel like the butterfly was more like I guess just a passing on kind of allegory, and then it doesn't really say what this next story is about. It's just like, oh, this next story is about a shoelace. And Veronique, she got a shoelace in the mail. I'm like, wow, this is like, he's orchestrating this. But when she asks him, why me? Why did you do this to me? Why did you, like, why am I here and not like anybody else? Why did you send me this shoelace? And he just says, I don't know. So I kind of feel like there's an element of fate in there as well. Where like I was almost thinking like he's kind of like a god figure, but then like he's not really influencing the story in any way that he knows.
Yeah.
I got loads to say, I'm sorry. There's
like I said, I have like one note,
yeah,
so I'm just gonna let you talk.
So there's a part towards the end where, oh, you know what? I'm gonna backtrack a bit, because there's a part where Veronica, she's like on this bus, and she looks out the window and she sees this guy that she's like sort of seeing, and he tells her to get out of the bus. So she gets out the bus, she goes to see him, and he tells her that he loves her, and she can't say it back. She doesn't say it back. So she just like gets him to drive her home instead, without saying I love you back. And that's kind of like where I also get this more. I mean, obviously she doesn't owe him an I love you, of course, but it's kind of like this more like closed off thing where she's kind of she doesn't want to let these parts of herself branch out to different areas. She's very focused on what she's doing. And I felt like that directly paralleled to a scene later in the movie where Alexandra and Veronique were in her apartment, and then they've known each other for like less than 24 hours even, and he just like, they've been asleep, and then he looks towards her and he goes, I love you, and she says, I love you back. That was kind of, I just felt like that was more to do with like a direct parallel to that in terms of like, here's how these characters are in some ways completely different, but they're also very similar. I also felt that with you guys notice this old lady, it just comes up, and she's like carrying like bags across the road. Veronica looks out of her window and she says to her, oh, stop, I'll help you with that, and the old lady just like walks on. That's like also paralleled to when Veronique is in her classroom, and she's teaching the kids this song. There's also the same song that Veronica was singing with the orchestra. I felt that to be quite interesting. But then she just like looks at her and she's just kind of walking away and she doesn't say anything to her. It's like not even something that kind of influenced or changed the story in any way, but it's just parallels, I feel, how these things are kind of interconnected in different kinds of ways, but also completely different in others.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of that throughout the film, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of things that don't really impact the story, but...
Yeah. If you're like paying attention to it, I guess you could be like, that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
There's a part where Veronique is listening to like music on headphones, but it's just like this weird fucking industrial sounds. I'm like, is this happening like outside, or like is she actually listening to this? And I feel like she was listening to it, because it just cuts between like these weird kind of industrial sounds, and then suddenly, for like a split couple seconds or whatever, it cuts to the performance that Veronica was in. It's like these two stories are kind of connecting again. They do that. They do that a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, I had no clue what was happening in that scene. I was like, what are all these noises?
Yeah, it's just stuff. Eh?
Just things happening.
Just things happen. There's and then there's that part that I went off on a complete tangent, and I wanted to mention this part like right at the end, where like she goes up to Alexandra and he is playing with his puppets, or like he's creating his puppets for his show. She says, "Is that me?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's you." And at this moment where he says, "Yeah, there are two puppets. I've made two puppets of the same version, two versions of the same puppet." She says, "Why are there two puppets?" And he said, "Because during the performance, I handle them a lot and they get damaged." I was like, holy shit. That was such a fucking light bulb moment for me. I was like, oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if like you guys felt that way at all.
I don't think either of us really understood what the puppets were meant to mean.
Mm. They're just freak dancing out.
Oh, no, I hate them. I hate them so much.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, to be fair though, that I'm guessing that's right at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of did. It kind of spoon fed it to you a little bit, I think. But then I don't know whether that's because, when I read like the little thing on like Letterboxd or whatever, and then watched it, I kind of already knew what was going on. Quotations here. I didn't actually know what was going on, but it kind of made sense in that moment. Or whether because I watched it and then looked up the plot and I went, actually, that is a pretty sick idea. But if I had watched it without even looking up what it was about, and I probably wouldn't have understood it at all.
I feel less like the line, "I handle them a lot, they get damaged," was like a spoon feeding moment, but more like there's a line like directly after it where he's telling it, it's like, "I've got a new story and it's about this," and it's like
I think that's what it was.
He's like that he's talking about like that day at 3 a.m. they were both born in two different cities on two different continents. They both looked alike, and when they were 2 years old and knew how to walk, one of them burned her hand on a stove. A few days later, the other reached out to touch the stove but pulled away just in time. I was like, I still really like that line. I still really like it, but it is kind of like a, you get it kind of line.
Yeah, it's very on the nose.
Yeah, it was sort of like, if you didn't understand what it was about, you do now.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I feel like the rest of it just kind of just complements it anyway. Like I was getting that from it in the first place.
Yeah.
And then I like when she sees this photo that she's taken of Veronica because she was in Krakow visiting. And then when she gets home, Alexandra says, "Oh, well, look, that's you in that photo." She's like, "That's not me. That's not my coat." And she just like starts crying because I feel like that was kind of, it was like more grief for that lost part of ourselves, and she doesn't know. She like feels the loss of Veronica, even though she doesn't know her. She feels it intrinsically inside her own being. I feel that was kind of like just grief for like,
Yeah.
in an existential sense.
Yeah, almost like a part of hers like died or something.
Yeah, that was also like paralleled when Veronica says to her father that she thinks that she's not alone. Her father says, "Oh, you're not alone." She's like, well, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I was thinking a lot about like, you ever heard like this theory? I think there's like, there's like one or two other people in the world that look exactly like you.
Yeah, everyone's got a doppelganger.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of that the entire time. I was like, wow, if my doppelganger dies, do I feel sad? Who knows? Do I feel grief?
When he dies, you get all his memories.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just depends on who
Being
dies
John
first.
Malkovich style.
I've got to outlive him.
Track him down and kill him before you die first.
What on earth has this podcast become?
Do you guys know why she like rubbed that ring under her eye? Like rubbing a ring under her eyes. It's like making it go red. Like, why are you doing that?
No, I actually thought it was really weird because I think it was the first thing I brought up. I was like, what is that? We actually thought she was like taking it out of contact or putting it in or something. Had no idea what that was about.
But they both do it, so I don't know.
Maybe it's a European thing.
It's a French thing. They also keep like dropping things and falling over all the time. It's just like a French
Relatable.
thing.
Yeah, man.
It's just, yeah, I feel that.
You know, being French ourselves.
Yeah, I'm something of a Frenchman myself.
You just say wee wee.
Wee wee.
That's all you know.
Well, I think I've talked enough about this. I really find it quite fascinating, honestly, in terms of like how it's so well put together technically from a technical standpoint, and just like a more an existential standpoint as well. I really love the characters. Even like as little as we do get of Veronica, do really like her, and then Veronique also just a fantastic character overall. It was really just kind of gripped from start to finish, and it is quite slow. It is, but kind of, it felt more like relaxed for me in that way.
Yeah. I thought Irene Jacob was really great in the movie.
Yeah.
She's also fantastic in Red, the Three Colours movie. But I definitely preferred her in this.
Yeah, she plays two people, so
yeah,
takes balls. Okay, should we go on to ratings?
What do you want to rate it out of, Max?
We'll rate it out of shoelaces.
Nice.
Sure thing. Yeah, my rating's like more of a placeholder than anything, because I don't think I can really fairly judge the movie based on the experience I had watching it. I do think on the technical level, I think it's really well made, and there's a lot I like. Just the experience I got out of it, I don't think I was in the right headspace to really get everything I could have gotten out of it. So I'm going to give it 6 shoelaces for now, but that will probably change when I rewatch it in the future, and I definitely do want to watch it again sometime.
Mm-hmm. I think it hit me because I feel like we're all looking for something outside of ourselves. I think we're all looking for some kind of deeper purpose to life, whether you believe in that kind of thing. I don't know, but I just feel like this kind of hit home for me on an existential level. I do. When you think about just life in general, it's like, is this all there is, or like, is there something else, or is there something more? I don't know, but this kind of explored those kinds of themes for me, and it explored like themes of like the self as well, which I'm quite interested in. I just think it's a fantastically put together movie, and I also like that scene when like Veronique is talking to Alexandra, and she says, "What do you want to know about me?" And he says everything. So she like gets her handbag, and she just tips out the entire contents of her handbag. That was great. Yeah, a lot of like crazy moments that we didn't. Yeah, there was like a flashing moment where like some guy walks past and like just flashes Veronica.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, I guess that happened, and they never mention it again. She just like, okay. But yeah, fantastic movie. I really like this director a lot. I would like to see more of his movies. I'm going to give it 10 shoelaces out of 10.
I really want to watch his series Decalogue. I've heard really good things about that. It's like all stories based off the 10 Commandments or something.
Interesting.
I'd like to
Are
see
they like
that.
really long films or like just shorts?
They're like an hour or so each, I think,
Mhm.
because it was like a made-for-TV series.
Oh, okay, I got you. Bloody yeah. Sounds quite in depth. He sounds like a very philosophical kind of guy. But mostly because I don't know. After hearing Max talk about it, it made me think that maybe if I had like watched it when I studied philosophy at A level or whatever, maybe I would have found a bit more like not necessarily interest, but I think I might have like delved into it a bit more.
Found a bit more deeper meaning to it.
Yeah, like it's not that it didn't, because it did, but usually on like off the cuff, if I'm just watching something and I'm not like I can't think of the word, like if I don't know specifically like what's going on at certain points, I just sort of don't think too deeply into it. But the more you think about it, the more it kind of is like, I do like that whole like almost reminds me of like that, you know, like Red String of Fate type thing, where like two people like not meant to, obviously not meant to be, because that's what it actually means, but like you know, two people like know each other kind of thing, but they don't know each other, that sort of thing.
Like
I probably
shoelace.
wouldn't watch it again though. Yeah, so yeah, the shoelace of fate.
That is kind of what I took that as, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would watch it again. Maybe I would. I don't know. For now, I'm saying no, but maybe if Chris had it on whilst we were eating dinner or some shit, maybe I probably would.
What a weird film to watch while eating dinner.
Yeah, so for that, I'm going to give it 6 shoelaces of fate out of 10.
Yeah, that's all right. Shit over something I love. Fine. I mean, obviously, whatever. You guys think what you think about it. I hope I kind of got my points across in a succinct manner, because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah. I think you should just intentionally shit on Mummy now just to upset Darcy.
This is what I did when I like started the film. I like sent a video of me going, this fucking piece of shit. This sucks. It's a box. This is lame.
Oh my god, why is it shot in this ratio? Yeah, you cheeky
No square
fuckheads.
movies.
I guess that brings us on pretty nicely to my movie, which I do have to get up because I don't know what year it came out. I only watched it for the first time last year, so fucking hell, it's like 7 years old.
Yeah, 2014.
Oh my god. So I picked is it Mummy or is it Mommy?
Mummy.
Mommy.
It's whatever accent you have.
Oh, okay. Right. It's only because it's got that O in it, and
Maman.
you know how, yeah, Mummy. Yeah, 2014, directed by, I'm guessing that's Xavier Dolan rather than Xavier.
I think it's Xavier.
It's Xavier.
Because he's Canadian, so I think they pronounce it differently.
Sorry, Xavier. But yeah, Xavier Dolan
I could
directed
be completely wrong, but
it's quite a it's kind of an interesting film, because I feel like it's one of those films where like not much happens. It feels more like a sort
it's
of
like a character piece.
Yeah, it's sort of like watching the development of like three people sort of like together as the film goes on. But essentially it's about Steve, I'm guessing as a teenager with a severe ADHD, and he's quite violent and has like outbursts, and it's basically about how his mum takes him out of these detention centers and like tries to put him back into the family home, and what shit goes down basically. That's the short and thick of it.
Yeah.
I can't bother to get into like the whole fucking plot.
No, sure. And it's good. It's a good movie. I've seen it once before.
God.
I didn't remember much about it, to be honest. I remember like few parts about it. I was happy to watch it again though.
Yeah, I think this is all of our second time watching it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's just like a really great movie. I think it's very like hard to watch at points. I think it's not like I don't know. Don't like sit a date down to watch this movie.
Not at all, Max.
Gets pretty.
They'd probably leave and never call you back.
Yeah, it gets pretty hard to stomach at certain points because like I'm just like looking at Steve as like this lit fuse, and like at any point he could start causing a ruckus. So there was always that kind of tension and anxiety there.
Yeah, it was like I felt like it was quite a hostile movie. Like at any point it could just go from 0 to 100 really quickly.
Yeah, and the points where it does do that are like super hard to watch and like kind of disturbing at points.
Like there was points where I was just like, oh, you know, you get that sort of like dread, that feeling of, oh my God, I don't think I can watch this anymore. But you carry on watching it anyway because you're just too invested in it.
Yeah. There was like that part where like they're in the taxi and like the taxi driver is just driving them, and then he makes a wrong turn. And like Steve just like goes off on him and he starts calling him like racist names, and like I was like, this is awful. But I was also like, this is really good acting.
Calls him the M word. That was a fun thing.
Oh yeah.
See that?
I was like,
yeah, I kind of, so basically I watched it about a year ago, but I watched it up in my bedroom on like, you know, my iPad on like this fucking like 4-inch screen or whatever. And I must have missed that bit completely because I turned around to Chris and I was like, oh my God, this is awful. Like, I don't remember this bit happening. And he was just laughing because he was like, yep, that happened.
This is the kind of guy he is. Okay. It doesn't like make you, it doesn't even like try to make you sympathize with Steve in like the beginning. He's like, there's his kid and he's kind of a prick. Yeah,
you kind of hate him a little bit.
Yeah, because he's a dick.
He is a bit of a dick.
It kind of like shows you him at face value, and then as the film goes on, it kind of like shows you who he really is and like delves into the conflict of him more, which I do actually really like. Like, they make a conscious effort to make you like the character and sympathize with him more and more as the film goes on, and they kind of step more away from the fact that it's like this guy who just freaks out and does all this horrible stuff. They kind of make you understand that and see that there's actually this good person who like is there. He just has this like problem that's completely destroying him.
Yeah, and it's really weird because you feel like you're going to start having sympathy for him, but to be honest, the whole time I just felt really bad for his mum, because could you imagine him being your son?
Yeah,
well,
sure.
it's just heartbreaking. Like, I don't know, I just felt for her the whole film. Like, I like the fact that she was a bit like a sort of like tough love kind of parent, where she was just like a bit like nonchalant about stuff, but also like always having a go at him, like when he was doing bad shit.
Well, you can tell she's like had to deal with him like his entire life.
Whole life. Yeah,
you've got to build up a tough shell to deal with these kinds of people.
But it seemed like that was just like the sort of person she is generally. She's like a very tough person, and it like you can tell that. Something I love about the movie is how it shows that there are these two people whose personalities completely conflict, but at the same time they relate in a lot of ways. Like, they have their own issues that kind of like overlap and stuff. And a lot of the movie is just like the way that they bounce off each other, the way they kind of conflict, and the way they like at each other's throats. And I think all of that stuff is handled really, really well.
Yeah, this entire time you're like, this could be solved if you just turn him into the police or something, just like put him in jail. It's like, no, I will not send him to baby jail. They like set up this this thing right at the beginning, which I thought was pretty weird. They're like, oh, there's this rule, there's this law that's come into place in a fictional Canada where
that was weird.
You can send your child to like juvie or whatever, and then you don't need to sign any papers, just put him there and you're all right. I'm like, why do you need to put that there? Like, is it really that far-fetched a thing to like just have the movie happen and then like have her put him in that like hospital without that precursor?
I kind of get why they put that there, because I imagine there would be like some people out there that are like, well, this doesn't make sense. This isn't what the world's like. But at the same time, I do think it's like completely unnecessary.
Yeah, but I guess in the same sort of vein, like you could argue that people who are violent or not very mentally well would probably get sectioned anyway. I mean, I don't think was he actually sectioned, or was it like I can't tell the difference between like juvie jail or like psych wards.
Yeah, it seemed like he was in a psych ward.
That's what it looked like, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, maybe one for like criminally, like mentally ill people.
Because like I know I mean, he did some bad shit, but like when you think about it, I don't think he ever did anything that was like worthy of like real hard jail. So that's why I thought maybe he was in a.
I know he committed a hate crime.
Yeah.
What
didn't he burn down
He burned down the cafeteria.
Well, yeah, I knew that bit.
Yeah, hate crime. He called the taxi driver the M word and spat at his car.
He did do that.
He like burned a kid's face when he burned that cafeteria down. So like, yeah, he deserves to go to jail.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, fair enough, but like in a court of law, they would probably say that it was like, I don't know, I don't know, you know, like where they're like, oh, it was reckless arson. That's what they call it. There's two different kinds of arson charges. Don't ask me why I know that. I've been watching a lot of Coronation Street lately. Big up my Coronation Street viewers.
A place to go to learn about all the crimes.
Yeah, no, they talk about it like
that's how I learn about the law.
Yeah, you can you can get charged with like reckless arson, which would be like he was just setting fire to the cafeteria. I don't think he was trying to like hurt anyone or burn anyone.
Maybe he was.
But I don't know. He's pretty he's pretty fucked up. I mean, he might have, but I mean that's the sort of thing that he'd probably get charged with because he probably didn't go out of his way to actually burn someone's face. Does that make sense?
He's a very conflicted character, although he's fucked up and like does all this stupid, dangerous stuff. I don't think he actually wants to hurt anyone. He does have a big heart.
By the end of the movie, I actually quite liked him.
Yeah.
And he was my hero.
That just kind of like goes to show just how great the writing and acting and directing all is in this movie. Because I feel like a lesser writer would have like handled that really badly, and by the end you'd probably hate him even more than at the beginning. I
feel like if you go about it the wrong sort of way as well, I feel like it might come across as kind of like offensive. Like you know what it's like when people when they're portraying things like, I don't know, mental illness and stuff, a lot of it can be like quite like stereotypical or like just pure out offensive because they don't really understand it.
Yeah, the thing with this director is he's very, very young. He was only like 25 or something when he made this movie.
You said that to me already.
He's had a lot of backlash throughout his career for tackling subjects that he's like completely out of his depth about. He's got a movie, the only other movie I've seen by him, called Lawrence Anyways, which is all about a transgender person coming to terms with that the fact that they're trans, and a lot of people in the trans community have come out and like been very against that movie in the way that they kind of treat that. But there's never a point during this film where it feels disingenuous. Like it all feels very real. It feels like it's coming from a place of like maybe experience, or it seems like he really understands.
Yeah, it could be. It could have been based off of someone that he knew, or
maybe based off his own experiences.
Yeah, like I mean, we don't know the director's like life story, so I don't know why people would I mean, I don't know though, because I don't want to get into the whole topic of like you know, like personal conflicts when it comes to like sensitive subjects. So
sure,
I'm not
I mean, it's a movie podcast. We don't have to go too deep with these things.
Oh yeah, like someone might be listening and thinking, thank fuck that they didn't go into that. It's just not my place. I feel like that is.
We don't want to get into anything we're out of our depth with.
Exactly, I think that's what it is. I don't want to start speaking shit about things that I have no business talking about.
I like the character of Kyla, who's like this woman that's moved in, or not moved it, like they've moved into this new house and like she's their new neighbor, and they like get closer to her, and I think like she and Di kind of make really tight friends, and like they make each other's lives better, because Kyla and her husband, I don't know, I didn't really get like much chemistry from them. I don't think they were doing too hot. It doesn't even feel like they loved each other at all. So
Ouch.
Kyla comes into like Steve and Diana's life, sort of makes it a bit easier for them. There's like this big fight that they have, and then there's this huge fight, and then like Steve like starts strangling Di, and then like she like has to run away from him, and because she's running away from him, like she hurts him. So then Kyla comes in and she like stitches up his wound. I found that to be a really good introduction.
Yeah, definitely. That character, it seems like she has a lot of like a like really troubled past, which is like caused her to like be in this like mental rut, and like that's causing her marriage to kind of fall apart. Kind of, that's what I got from the character, and I feel like them moving away to Toronto at the end was kind of like them trying to get a new start and get away from all that. But she's a great character. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when she's like looking after Steve, and like Steve like is just clowning around because that's what he does. Like he's hyper and full of energy, and he like grabs onto her necklace, and she literally like pins him to the ground and like grabs him by the throat and is like, "Don't touch that necklace, I'll fucking kill you."
Oh,
and then
my
he
God.
like he wets himself because he's like so scared. It's like really, really powerful scene.
God, that actually made that literally. To be quite crude, it actually made my butt cheeks clench. Like I swear to God, I never felt more uncomfortable.
Really?
Watching something.
I was like, yes! Oh, that was such a fantastic scene. I thought that was like the best scene in the movie.
It.
Like, give him what for. Fucking, yeah, exactly. It was like, just actually call him out on being a prick. Nobody does this. Just actually get in his face.
I think that's part of the reason why he wet himself in the first place, because he was probably like, holy shit.
Scared out of his fucking mind, yeah. She was like, do I bring up your dead father? No. So you get on the sofa and hold your fucking breath. And I was like,
and you could see like little bits of spittle coming out of her mouth, and I was like,
yes. It's a super tight shot. It looks amazing.
Oh, it was horrible. It was great because it was horrible. I can't explain that feeling. I don't know if anyone's ever watched something and it was so tense and horrible, but it was amazing because it was tense and horrible.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Just like for different movies, like that made me want to throw up. That was awesome.
Yeah. Like what was that in that ghost story where that woman's eating that chocolate pie.
Yeah.
That was also quite horrible.
I love the visuals to this movie. Like I feel like nearly every single shot looks like it's like something from a music video. Like the framing, shot composition, coloring is all really great. And of course, there's a great usage of aspect ratios where the majority of the film is shot in 1:1. It's like perfect square. It kind of like just conveys this like incredibly claustrophobic nature, which there's like this incredible montage to Wonderwall by Oasis, which is a bit of a questionable song choice, but the montage is great, where everything's like starts like going right for the characters. Everyone's like really happy, things are like finally turning around, and the film like Steve like stretches out the frame and like turns it to widescreen 16:9, which is like my favorite bit in the whole film. And then when like the rug's like pulled away from them and like they're just like, no, it's back to how it was, things are shit again, it just like slowly goes back to a 1:1. I think that's just really great usage of the aspect ratio.
I'm surprised it's taken you this long to bring that up, because I remember when it happened you went, whoa.
Yeah, that's just like, this is my favourite.
It was really cool though, because he's just like sort of like sliding on a skateboard, and then all of a sudden it's like and everything opens up. It's like pretty sick, to be fair.
Yeah. And hey, I actually do like the use of Wonderwall in the movie.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's just that I don't like that song. That's the only issue I have.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
I think it fits the scene. I just don't like that song.
I don't know, man. Sure. I don't know.
But really great soundtrack, just overall, I thought. Yeah. Really great, like, interesting songs they're using. I like the use of White Flag by Dido. That's such a good
Yeah,
song.
that's great.
Oh man, I love Dido.
That is a great song, though.
Yes. Agreed.
Or like right at the end, Lana Del Rey comes in with "Born to Die," just as
oh my god, do you know what?
he's about to like run out of the window. I was like, oh my god.
Let me just talk about how much I bloody love when that happened. The first time I saw that, I swear to God, I squealed. I never squealed so hard in my whole life. I was like, oh my god, that is amazing. But there was just something about it. It was just really cool.
Yeah. That's another song that I don't like, but I actually think its usage in the film is great.
I love this song. I love this. Well, I just love the album that it's on. That album is 20 out of 10 for me. I'm a basic white girl. Get me my pumpkin latte right now.
But I feel like the film kind of elevates the songs anyway. It's that good.
Yeah.
I don't even I don't care for Wonderwall that much, but in this movie, I really liked it.
I could have taken it or left it in that point, but I think it's because it's just Wonderwall, isn't it? Like there's just there's just something about Wonderwall that kills me. I used to love it. Too many times
on too many acoustic guitars at too many shit
I think that's what it is. They could have, they should have just played Mr. Brightside. It would have the same effect. To be fair, just not a fan.
I have to say, I don't like the score that was written for the film.
Oh, really?
It's very. They don't use it a lot, but it just like kind of felt like generic drama sort of stuff, like
don't remember
pianos and stuff. I just didn't think it was anything that interesting.
I quite liked it. I thought it added kind of an ethereal kind of feeling that complemented the look of the movie, where it is kind of these warm colours. I felt like it complemented it pretty well.
I just wish I remembered it, because then I could have commented, but I just don't remember any of it.
Mm. Do you like that montage scene that
which one
Diana is having? It's like this kind of
where she's
montage
imagining
of
his
scenes.
future.
Yeah, she's like, oh, if only this could happen. We don't know it. Like at first, we're like, this is actually happening. Like Steve's got his like acceptance into a university, into Juilliard, and he's gone off. He's gotten a girlfriend. He's got married. He's got a house or whatever. He's had a baby.
When I first watched it, I'd never been more upset about something not happening in a movie than when I just saw it turn back round to like he's being driven into like this like firm like detention center somewhere, and I'm like, wow, it's really come to this, hasn't it? This is what it's like.
I think even the first time I was kind of like, I don't think this is actually happening, because like she just like gets this new car. Weren't you in like a serious amount of debt? Like, how can you pay for this? I don't think this is happening.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Why is like Kyla going with you on this like road trip? Like, don't she have a family?
So she probably left her husband in this like scenario. They probably got together in this scenario, to be honest. I could see it.
Yeah, so it's a really sad ending, but I feel like it kind of has to happen in the story. Like,
it's the only one that makes sense.
Everything kind of comes to a head like in the 10-15 minutes before that, whereas like Steve is kind of like beyond help, unless he actually like, not even that, he's like beyond help if he's just like by himself with Di. He needs like proper attention. Yeah, otherwise he's just gonna end up like repeating the same things he's doing constantly.
I see what you mean. I feel like it would come to that point where it's gotten to that point of the film where you can't really go back from that. You kind of have to realise that it's not going to be happy.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of like screwing up everything around him. Like he screwed over that lawyer that was willing to help them. So like they're kind of alone in this legal battle. He he cuts his wrists in the store.
That was a hard watch, wasn't it? Yeah, hard one.
That was like, like I was like, why is he doing that though? I just felt like he kind of, the weight of it all just kind of hit home for him. I felt like he felt like a failure or something. Although maybe they could have gotten on better without him, he just like wanted to take himself out of the equation. And that's when I started feeling just like really awful for him.
Yeah, they hinted at him self-harming earlier in the movie, because you see like Di doing his washing, and like she sees like these little like strips of blood in his clothes on his arms.
Aww.
Yeah.
Now I'm more sad. Thanks for that. Sad.
What do you guys think of that part where
yeah, I suppose.
where like Steve like straight up kisses just straight up kisses his mother on the lips?
That's weird. There's also that bit where they're dancing and he like tries to touch her up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's
quite a
like
strange
Chris Chan
relationship.
themes everywhere.
Yeah.
They follow me. This was that Oedipus? Was it I don't know, that complex, you know, where you like want to fuck your mum.
Oedipus complex.
That's the one. Yeah. That's him.
It was very it was very much in line with that. Yeah. Felt very uncomfortable during those scenes.
Yeah, it did. Like, especially when like is it Kyla, whatever?
Kyla.
She's just like watching Steve touch up his mum, and she's just like, "You're an asshole." I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, how the hell do you react to that? There's these people that you don't even know, but
and
like
she's just
out of
laughing,
like common courtesy, like they've invited you into their house. Like you can't be like, "What are you doing?" Like it's their house.
It's just so weird.
Yeah. We got anything else there?
I do like that scene where they take him away in the like those three men come
that
out.
was
it was
mental.
filmed so well. Like they just come in, they're just walking, and like he sees them, he's like, "Oh, okay." And then like they keep going, he's like, "Oh fuck, they are here for me actually." So he just gets out and runs away. He starts like fighting with them. They start like tasing him and beating him up, and then like Di's just like on the floor screaming at them to stop like beating up her son. It's like awful to watch.
Yeah, like you see that part where Di gets out the car and then Steve thinks nothing of it, but then it's like when the penny drops is when it's like shit, stuff's about to get real now, because he's like bolting out of that car. He just leaves the door open. He's like, nah. But I also felt really sad. I just feel bad for Di throughout this whole film. Like I can't stop saying it, because like there'll be that point where Steve will turn around and be like, "I can't fucking believe you would do this to me," and she's like, "What do you want me to do, mate?" She's at the end of her tether here, isn't she? Like, what else is she gonna do?
You get it. You understand. Sympathise with her a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like in some ways you kind of sympathise with all these characters.
You do, definitely.
For sure. I especially really like Kyla, who is like stuttering a lot. I'm sure she's been made fun of a lot in her life for that. And like she
like
goes
when
to
Steve's always like, "Just spit it out, just fucking say the words."
But
it's
then
like,
I feel
how
like
they
kind of like the more time she spends with them, the more it like goes away. But then like when she's with her family, she's like at this in like the middle of the road between the two houses, her house and their house. And when she's talking to Steve, she's just like kind of fine. But then like when she has to answer her husband or her daughter, she just goes back to stuttering.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether it was like a stutter from like, you know when you like, I don't know, like in the King's Speech where you just like stutter a lot because you're just born with a stutter, or whether she was just stuttering because she was like really anxious and just was whatever.
Well, they said it started like a few years back, so I guess it was brought on by some sort of experience.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense.
There you go. We good to get on to ratings then?
Sure. I just want to mention like one thing. There's like a really great shot of Steve in this hospital, and like it's kind of filmed like he's just fine. He's on the phone, and they're like, it cuts and it's like it's just this black background, and it's just him in a straitjacket, and there's an arm coming into the frame, just holding a phone to his head.
With the phone,
and he's just high on drugs, he's leaving like a voice message for Di. It was such a really fantastic shot, and one of the most memorable in the movie.
Definitely. I completely agree with that. It's really great.
Should we
what are we going to rate this one out of?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What should we rate it out of? I think
Wonderwalls.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Wonderwalls then. Let's do this. Wonderwall.
Yeah. This is a really great, powerful movie. Although I said his film Lawrence Anyways is very controversial, I'd also recommend that I want to check out more of the director's stuff, but I've heard it's very, very, very hit or miss, like to the point where most people seem to say this is like his only good movie. But it's a really great movie. There's a lot of talent put behind it. Great acting, writing, and directing. Yeah, I'd give it 8 Wonderwalls out of 10.
Yeah. Now I've seen it twice. I don't think I would watch it again, to be honest. I think I've got about enough out of it And it is a hard watch, so you really got to be in the right mood to watch it. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, you probably should, because it's bloody good. It's a bloody good one. And yeah, it looks amazing. Do love the soundtrack. Do love the music. The acting is just really fantastic, and you believe every line of dialogue that comes out of their mouth. Yeah, I'll give it an 8 Wonderwalls out of 10 also.
Hell yeah.
Cool. I kind of knew going in that I was probably going to enjoy it the most. Not because I picked it and I had like a bias to it or anything, which makes me sound like that's what I'm saying, but that isn't actually the case. I kind of wanted to rewatch it because, I don't know, the second French movies came up. It was probably one of the only ones I could think of as well, which probably didn't help. But yeah, I really like this film. 10 Wonderwalls out of Oasis.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
That's that then. French movies in the bag. We did it. Congratulations.
To never watch again. Wahoo!
Merci. Next episode, we've got episode 45. We've got a TV show to watch. Season 1 of Chapelle's show. So that'll be episode 45.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, maybe we'll watch Cruella as well. I think we were going to watch that. The Disney one.
Oh, good luck to us. Okay, yeah. Sure.
Why not? So stay tuned for that. We've also got our social media accounts as always. YouTube is the Sunday Movie Marathon. Twitter is at Sunday Movie Pod. Facebook is at Sunday Movie Marathon. And Letterboxd is at Sunday MM, capital S, capital MM. Thank you for listening again. Merci beaucoup. And we'll see you on the next go round.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.